Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Johnna, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're coming back for a visit, I appreciate you so much. Today I want to talk about something that I haven't really heard a lot of people talk about, and it's something that can ruin your vacation if you don't prepare for it ahead of time, and that is seasickness. Now, a lot of people say they don't get seasick, but you never know what kind of weather you're going to head into. And in real severe weather, most people will have a little bit of equilibrium problem. It's more severe than others, but being prepared is the key, because who wants to spend your vacation sick? Not this girl. I want to be enjoying things, so I prepare ahead of time. Now, I'm going to give you a bunch of tips and tricks and remedies to keep you healthy and feeling good while you're on your trip, and then explaining a little bit about the seasickness. Basically, seasickness is when your brain and your eyes and your inner ear are not on the same wavelength. Your eyes are seeing the ocean move, but you're on a solid surface. You're on the ship, you're standing there and you're saying, well, I feel okay, but I see the water moving. And if you are doing things like reading or on your phone or tablet, this may make the seasickness worse, because now your eyes are doing something else. So you have to keep yourself kind of balanced, and there's certain ways to do that. There are medications, there are things you can eat, there are things you can do, and we're going to talk about all of them, because I want you to go on your trip and I want you to feel good and enjoy it. So one thing you want to be careful of if you tend to get seasick, or you think you might, is you want to make sure you don't overindulge in food or alcohol. These will make it worse. So have a good time, have your drinks, eat your food, go to the buffet. But if you feel that you may get sick or you are in rough seas, don't have heavy, greasy food, and don't overindulge in alcohol. Another thing you want to do is stay hydrated. That is so important. Don't skip meals. You have all this food available. I said don't eat heavy meals or greasy meals, but eat. Make sure you have food in your stomach. There are so many things to keep you from getting sick, because when your inner ear is not registering with your brain what your eyes are seeing or your body movement is feeling, then you're going to come into some trouble. So if you start ahead of time, before you ever go on the cruise, and take a medication, over-the-counter medication is fine. You can take Dramamine. I take Bonine. I like it. It tends to not be drowsy or as drowsy as Dramamine, even though they do have a non-drowsy Dramamine. If you take that and start taking it about a day before you sail, then take it every day. Don't wait to get seasick. Take it just every day or whatever. Bonine, it's once a day. And Dramamine, I'm not sure if it's every so many hours or if it's once a day. But read the instructions. And by the way, I'm not a doctor. I am not giving you medical advice. You need to do your research and decide for yourself. I'm telling you tricks and tips that I have used that have kept me feeling great on my cruise. So you can also get a patch that goes behind your ear, and the doctor can prescribe it. I've seen them sold on Amazon. I have not used them. My doctor did prescribe me the patch, and it was extremely expensive. I don't know if it was just the brand that she did prescribe, but I decided not to get it because it was like astronomical. It was a tier 4, if you know anything about medication. It was a tier 4 medication. So I thought, no. And then I did see them on Amazon, so you may be able to get it there. There are wristbands that work on pressure points. There's also a thing that I saw. It's an oil, and you put it behind your ear, and it's supposed to help. It's like an essential oil. Now, I've never tried that. I've used Bonine. The other thing I've used that really helped was ginger chews. I found these ginger chews at TJ Maxx or Michael's or somewhere, and they were pretty inexpensive. And it was a big bag. There were 50 of them. And I started taking the ginger chews. Well, number one, they're like a candy. So I would have one once in a while just to have one. Not because I felt sick or anything, but just because I like them. You know, if you like ginger, they're very good. I think they were ginger and lemon or something. And I had them in my room, and I would take a couple in my purse when I went out, and once in a while I would just have one. And they were kind of my candy on the trip. So you can have ginger chews, and they help. You can also have crackers that help your stomach, like a soda cracker. You can also have an apple. Now, green apples are supposed to be wonderful for being sick. And if you've ever been on a cruise ship, you've seen green apples in the buffet area. You can take a whole green apple back to your room and just keep it there. And if you get seasick or start to feel queasy, eat the apple. The big tip is, though, to try to keep ahead of it. Don't wait until you're really sick. But if you do start to feel queasy, there are things you can do. You know, Grandma would say chicken noodle soup. And honestly, some chicken noodle soup would not hurt you. And a little bit of crackers, stay in the fresh air, go up to the deck and sit there and look at the horizon and get fresh air. One of the worst things you can do is to go to your room and feel sick and just feel miserable. You'll get sicker because you're not doing anything to change it. Now, if you think that you just want to go to sleep and take a nap, you may be able to take something, go lay down, take a nap, and wake up feeling much better. But my suggestion is, if you're not feeling tired, stay up, get in the fresh air, get something to eat like an apple, some ginger, some crackers, some tea. Go to the beverage station in the buffet. There may be some kind of a ginger tea or a lemon tea, and just something mild, and sit out and sip on the tea. That's going to keep you hydrated, and it's going to keep you feeling calm. Look out at the horizon and breathe in the fresh air. Sea air is a wonderful healer, so, try to do that. Another thing you can do, we talked about ginger chews, is you can get some ginger ale. Go to a bar or a beverage area where you can order. I'm pretty sure they will be able to give you a ginger ale. If you go to the restaurant for dinner or what have you, you can ask them, if you're not feeling really good, what is something you can have? They deal with people seasickness all the time. Now, if you forgot to bring something with you on board, or you didn't start taking something before you got sick, you can go to guest services and ask them if they have anything. A lot of times they will be able to give you Dramamine or some over-the-counter medication. However, remember, preventative is the key. Although it will help, something's better than nothing. And if you feel extremely ill and you're just not getting better, you can go to the ship doctor. Now, the cost of a ship doctor is pretty high, and it would be my last resort of what I want to do. That's why I want to give you this information, so you can plan ahead and not have to go to that ship doctor and not even ever get sick. But when you're on board and you're doing these remedies and you're feeling fine, don't quit doing it. If you're taking Bonine or Dramamine, don't quit what you're doing. If you have a patch, don't take it off and feel you don't have to replace it. They're only good for 3 days, so you will have to change it most likely on your trip. But don't think, oh, well, I didn't feel sick at all, and not put another one on, because sure enough, that's when it's going to hit you. So keep up on the routine. Stay hydrated, watch your alcohol intake, and enjoy your trip. Be active, get in the fresh air, and have a good time at the buffet, have a good time at the restaurant, but try to keep the heavy, greasy food to a minimum. Now, there's a few other things. Now, if you're going on a transatlantic, you're going to hit most likely rougher seas. If you're traveling in hurricane season, which starts in June and goes, I think, till October, but if you are headed into any rough seas, and the ships usually go around a lot of this, they don't go right through the storms, and they are pretty good about keeping you in fairly mild waters, but it happens, especially on a transatlantic. You want to make sure that you are taking care of your health and how you're going to feel right away. You're going to want to make sure that you are doing something preventative so you don't get sick. It's not going to hurt if you don't get sick, but boy, if you get sick, it's going to be miserable and ruin your vacation. There's a few other things you can do to help with not getting seasick, and that is the location of your room. It's best to have your room in the center of the ship, and it's best to have your room on a middle level. So you don't want to be high up and you don't want to be down too low. And actually, the lowest you can be is still almost midship. But you want to make sure that you have a central of the ship as close as you can to where you have your cabin. That is going to keep the movement, if you have any issues, at bay. Now, my suggestion is, if you've not been on a cruise or you haven't been on many, do this until you are more familiar to how you react and how your body's going to take being on water. The other thing is, you want to make sure, if you aren't feeling well, that you also stay in that area of the ship. So you go out on the promenade or out on the deck to get fresh air. You don't want to be way up at the front or way at the aft of the ship, because that's where the movement's going to be greater. You want to stay central on the ship as much as you can and look, remember, at the horizon, which will be a steady focus that you can look at. Another thing you can take in case it starts to kind of get away from you, or if you just start to feel a little ill, is Tums. That's going to help settle your stomach. Tums, Rolaids, like I said, soda crackers, ginger ale, ginger candy, those are all great things. Green apples, don't forget. Grandma's chicken noodle soup. And of course, chicken noodle soup has a lot of good things in it because it also has some sodium that's going to help you stay hydrated, and that's another key. So I did mention about reading. Reading can make you feel more seasick, so you do want to maybe not read during this time. Stay off your phone or your tablet or anything like that, and just go out and enjoy the fresh air and enjoy your trip. Another thing is, you want to make sure that there's other things that could be causing you to feel sick. It's not always seasickness. And I check the CDC before I go and see, in the areas that I'm going, are there any outbreaks of flus or influenzas? How about the ship that I'm on? Is the ship, have they had any outbreaks lately? And you want to check that. Also, you want to boost your immune system, whether I am taking a lot of vitamins or I am taking over-the-counter medicine that helps your immune system prior to going, because I want to be as healthy as I can getting on that ship. I don't want to spend 1 minute feeling sick in my cabin. So you want to do that. Another thing that's very important is hand washing. We hear all the time about norovirus, and that is on land a lot, as much as it is on ship. The problem on a ship is you're in a confined quarters with a lot of people, and you're going to crowded areas, so you need to be vigilant in hand washing. Norovirus does not help with sanitizer, so when they're giving you the sanitizer, it's good, take it. It helps with a lot of germs, but it's not going to help you with norovirus. Hand washing with soap and water is a thing. So I hand wash before I leave my cabin. When I get back to my cabin, I usually hand wash. If I'm out on the ship for a while, I'll pop into a restroom, hand wash. I always hand wash at the hand wash stations when I go into the buffet, or there's usually a restroom by any of the dining venues, so I'll jump in and wash my hands. You're touching elevator buttons, you're touching handrails, you're touching slot machines, you're touching chair arms, you're touching so much that you really have to be hand washing more than you think you need to. In other words, you can't do it too much. You can't be too obsessive compulsive about it to stay healthy. So there you have it. I hope it helped you, and I hope some of these remedies will be something you can use and stay feeling good on your cruise, because nobody wants to be sick, whether it's seasickness or an ailment on the cruise. Not me. I will always have my ginger chews. If you see me on the ship and you need one, I'll probably have one on me I can give you. I love them. I keep them on me. And I do take my Bonine every day. I hope you, if you're going on a cruise, have a wonderful, safe, healthy, enjoyable time. And you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day and happy sailing.